What if we change the narrative in our own brain about intermittent fasting? And instead of admitting that we've stepped away from fasting, what if we acknowledge the fact that we actually just stepped back into eating? Now, there are many reasons why you step back into eating, or maybe what you're telling yourself is you stepped away from fasting. And once we identify those reasons, it's really easy to jump back in. But if you're new to fasting, what I want to do for you today is give you 3 things to think about or to consider before you make the commitment to jump into intermittent fasting. Because what I want you to come into intermittent fasting with is a lifestyle approach, and I don't want you to jump into fasting or maybe back into fasting with a sense of panic or desperation to do a specific thing, because oftentimes if that specific thing that you're hoping for doesn't happen fast enough, that's when a lot of women admit that they stepped away from fasting. So we're going to talk about those 3 things today. We're going to change the narrative in our own brain and really accept the fact that if you're not fasting, you are just eating. And why is that? You're choosing that for yourself when you know in the past that when you do that in a way that doesn't serve you, we end up usually feeling really bad about ourselves and how we are treating ourselves in our life. So welcome to today's video. My name is Ann Parham. I'm the creator of the online course and community, The Intermittent Fasting for Today's Aging Woman. It is a course where I teach you how to create a lifestyle that uses intermittent fasting as the tool to allow you to look and feel your best and live your most authentic life. All the information about how to jump into our life-changing course can be found in the description box below, and toward the end of the video, I will post a link for you up in the video section as well. So let's get into today's conversation. The first reason, or the first thing you should consider when you're thinking about changing your lifestyle approach to caring about yourself and using intermittent fasting as the tool is to think about when you want to fast and the protocols that you want to use when you're fasting. So I like to teach women to implement intermittent fasting into the life they are already living, and don't try to manipulate or change your life to accommodate what you think is a perfect fasting schedule. So some of the really popular fasting protocols that you've probably heard around in the circles that you're searching in are the 16-8, probably the 18-6, the 24, and then the 1 meal a day. Those are really intermittent fasting protocols. Anything over 24 hours is really not intermittent fasting, and that's fasting, prolonged fasting, extended fasting, however you want to define that, but it's not intermittent. Intermittent fasting is feasting and fasting within a 24-hour period. So 16-8 is a really great protocol. A lot of people use that just to conveniently maneuver food into their life with a busy schedule. You can, stop feasting at night after you have dinner, just postpone your breakfast to a little bit later in the day. And it's easy to accomplish a 16-hour fast. But for most women, especially women transitioning through hormonal changes, 16 hours has just been proven to not be long enough to reverse some of the things that we have going on in our body that we're unhappy with. And a lot of that is just hormonal backup, body fat, blood glucose regulation problems, and the 16-hour fast is just not enough time in a fasted state to reverse a lot of those things. So what I teach and what I recommend is the 20-hour fast with the 4-hour feasting window. So one of the things that I get asked all the time is, how do I get the best results based on when I'm fasting? I believe you're going to get the best results and you're going to be the most consistent with living this lifestyle if you take some time to consider what your day is like. So for me, when my kids were in school and they were busy and my husband was working and away from the home a lot, it was really easy for me to fast during the day and enjoy connection and family time with my family in the evening during the feasting part of my protocol. And now my life has changed. My kids are grown. My daughter's super busy. She's out of high school. My son doesn't live at the house anymore. My husband's work schedule has changed. And so I tend to fluctuate my fasting protocols just to accommodate what my day looks like. And that's perfectly fine too. So know that there's no perfect time to fast and there's no perfect time to feast if you're going against the grain of your current life or what your schedule is. What I recommend is plugging in your fasting window during a time of your day that makes sense for you. So if you're social at night or you have family obligations at night, I would make sure that you schedule your feasting time for the evening time. And if you're busy during the day, maybe you're away from home working, that's when I recommend scheduling your fasting window. That is the best chance for success and for creating a lifestyle you won't feel like you need to walk away from when life gets busy. Now, before I close out this point, I also want to mention the 1 meal a day, or what is often considered the 24-hour fast. It's really a 23-hour fast and usually accommodate a 1 hour feasting window. Again, it's a very, very popular fasting protocol. A lot of people find great success with it, especially if you are a really busy person, because you don't have to keep breaking for food. And if you're really taking advantage of that fasting window, you can reap some amazing benefits. And so if that sounds like a life that you're living and you're really busy and you're tired of like chasing down food or trying to find time to fit food in, a 1 meal a day or 23-1, sometimes it's referred to as a 24-hour fasting protocol. So just be aware of that. Maybe look into that as well and see if that might accommodate you. Even if it's just a couple days a week, it will not do you any harm and it will probably do you a lot of good if it fits into your lifestyle. So the when you fast is really important to designate how to fit it into the life you are currently living, because if you try to change your life to accommodate the perfect fasting schedule, we have done those kind of things before. Those are called diets. They're usually short-lived. You usually end up being disappointed with them. So create a lifestyle that you love, create a lifestyle that works for you, and then ebb and flow your way through it. Okay, the second point I want to bring up is how you fast. And this is where a lot of people who have incorporated intermittent fasting find themselves feeling like they've walked away. And it's simply because they are eating during their fasting window. And so I really like to point out to women that just because you're not sitting down with a placemat at a dining room table, with a fork and a knife and a spoon and a napkin folded and all those things, like the proper place setting, that doesn't mean that you're not eating. So eating doesn't mean that you're sitting down for a proper meal. Eating, when you're thinking about intermittent fasting, means anytime you put anything in your body, that's going to cause some sort of chemical or hormonal response. So for some women, that could mean, sweeteners in your coffee or tea in the morning. Definitely most creamers are going to be creating an eating environment in your body. The little bite of something, maybe when you're taking your supplements, could be something that's breaking your fast, and that is called eating during your fasting window. Once you have been living a fasting lifestyle for a while, you've matured into your fasting and your feasting protocols, and you really understand how your body is responding to food exposure and how your body is responding in the fasted state, and you've done a lot of healing along the way, you can afford to implement some things into your fasting window without creating any kind of backlash or any kind of regression in the results that you once got. But if you do find that you're sliding backwards and you're losing some of the benefits that you received with fasting, it usually means that you're eating during your fasting window and you're no longer reaping the benefits of a fasted state. So how you fast matters. If you need to clean fast for a while to reset some of your hormones, reset some of those chemical reactions that your body is having with food, then I recommend doing your time in the clean fasted state and reaping those benefits as quickly as possible. When you get really comfortable and confident with this lifestyle, like I said, you can pick a couple of days a week where you're like, I'm just going to have some creamer in my coffee, and this is the day that I sit and enjoy that creamer. And then the other days you go back to clean fasting. All of that is fine too. The thing that we have to remember, and again, this is the mindset part, is when we put something into our fasted state, if we are no longer reaping the benefits that we just were, and we're not happy with that, you have to go back to that clean fasting. Your body is just not at a place yet where you can afford to put something in your fasting window. So how you fast is really important. Do you need to keep it clean? Can you accommodate some things in your fasting window just a couple of days a week? So we've talked about when to fast, what protocol works for you, and how to accommodate that into the life you're already living. We talked about how you fast. Should it be squeaky clean? Can you afford to put some things in your fasting window? Can you maybe just pick a couple of days to put some things in your fasting window? So now the third point I want to talk about is the why. Why are you looking into incorporating an intermittent fasting window? Or why were you fasting Why did you allow yourself to step out of that lifestyle? And what is it that you're looking for that's drawing you back in? For a lot of women in this age group or this season of life, which we'll just call the menopausal season of change, a lot of the interest in intermittent fasting is the hormonal reset imbalance. And when I say hormonal reset imbalance, I'm not talking about estrogen, progesterone, or testosterone. I'm talking about the other hormones that get completely out of whack because of estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone changing. And those hormones are usually our hunger hormones, our insulin, our leptin, our neuropeptides, and our ghrelin. So our body doesn't even know anymore when we should be eating. Are we really feeling hungry? Can we go without food? Because those hormones are thrown so out of balance because all of our hormones work together. When a hormone goes high, there's usually another hormone that goes low. And then when a hormone goes low, there's usually another hormone that goes high. It's the ebb and flow of our body system. For women, when our estrogen levels start to drop, insulin naturally increases. This is where so many women are finding themselves absolutely stumped about the body that they are living in because they don't recognize it anymore, because we're hoarding body fat, because we might have just been diagnosed with some sort of blood sugar related disease. Those are all the things that happened to me. And all kinds of changes are happening in our body and we don't understand why. And it's usually just because our hormones are trying to figure out what role they need to play now because other hormones have changed. So the big why for me when I first started intermittent fasting is I wanted to save my life. I saw myself going down a road of aging in a way that I didn't really like, and I wanted to be able to get control of that and reverse that as much as possible. And that is exactly what intermittent fasting has done for me, and why 8 years later, I'm still practicing an intermittent fasting lifestyle. For some women, it's blood glucose control. Intermittent fasting is one of the best, easiest, and most affordable ways to really get your blood glucose back in check. And again, that's just because when we balance out and really help our insulin respond correctly to when we're in a fasting environment versus when we're in a feasting environment, blood glucose has an opportunity to re-regulate itself. And what you'll find is that a lot of those blood glucose related diseases that we end up with will self-correct. For me, it was a pre-diabetic condition, insulin resistance, and hypoglycemia at 58 years old. This is the first decade in my life, in my 50s, where I have not suffered from hypoglycemia. And I credit that to the practice of intermittent fasting. Another big reason or big why that people love intermittent fasting, especially women in menopausal seasons of change, is the increased amount of energy. When you can train your body to turn internally to find energy as its source of supporting yourself throughout the day, that energy is plentiful, it's clean, and it's an energy that you've probably never really been able to feel in the way that you're supposed to feel it. I call it the energized sense of calm. You have so much internal energy being produced, but because you're not putting anything in your body that's going to cause your body to have to work and adjust hormonally, you have this even keel emotionally. So if you are a woman who suffered from hypoglycemia and you get those highs and lows where you actually have to eat to get the high, and then when that sugar drops off, you hit the low, that goes away. And that is really how we describe the energized sense of calm. You have energy in the absence of food because your body is going to find the resources that it needs to provide you with energy from all the things that you have in storage that you're probably currently complaining about. So if you feel like you need some free energy, intermittent fasting is the best way to get that. And then a lot of people in general, and again, a lot of women in our community use intermittent fasting as a way to detox and reset their body. We know that when we are in a clean fasted state and we have reached a point of autophagy, unofficially, that is said to happen at about 17 hours into a fasted state, our body has the opportunity to, again, internally cleanse out our body. You don't have to buy a detox kit. You don't have to do any kind of juicing or anything like that. You just move out of the way of your body, get it into a fasted state for a long enough period of time to reach a state of autophagy, and your body will do self-cleaning and self-healing. Your body will actually eat away at dead and damaged protein cells, and redistribute clean and healthy cells back into your system. It's a beautiful and magical thing that our body has been designed to do for us, but most people don't know how to take advantage of that. Intermittent fasting should be the thing that fits into your life. You should not be unrecognizable to anybody in your life because you are intermittent fasting. They may notice that you're saying no thank you to some extra things that you just don't want to incorporate into your life anymore. But intermittent fasting should be a very normal thing. You should feel very relaxed about it. It should fit into your routine very beautifully. You should not have to exit your life in order to practice an intermittent fasting lifestyle. And then when you've played around with some of the fasting protocols, which just are basically windows where you fast and windows where you feast, you get to decide what windows those are for you. Then you can ebb and flow your way out of time in fasting and time in feasting to accommodate what it is you say that you really want for yourself. So I want you to ask yourself, have you stepped away from fasting or have you simply just stepped back into feasting? And which one of those lifestyle approaches serves you best? And if it is intermittent fasting or you're new to intermittent fasting and you're curious, I highly recommend jumping in. You have nothing to lose and everything to gain. If you are the kind of woman that benefits from being in a community or you like being in a structured environment where you are given a lesson and reminder and accountability every single day, then you're one of the women that would benefit greatly from our Intermittent Fasting for Today's Aging Woman course. We have a new course starting every month. Like I said, the information is always included in the description box down below. And I will include a link here to get on my email list so I can email you and personally invite you to join us. I hope this video was a reminder to you about how amazing intermittent fasting is, or maybe an introduction to intermittent fasting in a way that maybe you've never heard before, that is giving you some new insight so that you can make an informed choice about jumping in with us in this amazing world of intermittent fasting.